Sanditon Chronicles. I am your host, Maureen, of course, but I've missed this, so I have decided that in the midst of my chemotherapy treatments, I am going to record these when I feel well enough to record them. So you might see me in the same outfits, a couple different videos. Today I'm going to try to put out a few, but I have a sleeping 3-year-old in the other room, so I don't know how well that's going to work out for me. But I've missed doing these, and I've gone 2 weeks without putting out a video, and I don't remember the last time that happened, so I'm going to get back into it. Update on me, we finished our first round of chemo. It was incredibly difficult, which is why there was 2 weeks without a video. I think I naively thought it won't hit until midweek, but it was the entire week was very, very difficult for me. And I had an allergic reaction to where they put in my chemo port, so that was fun for me. That's still a problem, but my new hairstyle is it's different. It's something to get used to, and I'm actually really warm, so I'm gonna keep my hand off for the rest of this. You'll notice my background is different because it is a little hard for me to get upstairs into my podcasting room, which is why there is a sleeping toddler in the other room because I can't carry her up and down the stairs when she goes to sleep to her bedroom. So let's see how long we can get through this, and I'm looking forward to getting back with you guys. Unfortunately, and this bums me out a lot because my girl Janice, she's my girl. I love Janice, but because I have to record these when I feel well enough, there's going to be a lot of times when I don't have a co-host. And honestly, for me, listening to a podcast, listening to two people interact is more fun for me. So I'm sorry that you're going to get just me for a while, because I know that that's not my preferred way to listen to a podcast, and it's probably not yours either, and I apologize for that. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them to me, or ask, that was a weird way to say that. You can feel free to ask me them about anything, whether it's my my life here in Wisconsin, or, which hence the winter hat, it's Wisconsin. Or anything about Sanditon, or things we have coming up. We are actually almost, because we haven't had any interviews for a while, as they've been filming season 2 and 3, yay! We have almost made it to the end of my list of discussion topics. So, that's a little daunting. I think we have, how many more? We have 1, 2, 3, I think 4 or 5 more discussion topics that I had pre-planned out to discuss. And then we have, we're going to continue our fan fiction series until we can get some interviews for you. And then after that, we are going to go into recaps. I can actually say we're going to be doing live recaps, not live, because I would like to watch the show as it's happening. I might, let me know if this is something you're interested in. I'm considering doing the very first episode, a live podcast, while I watch it. I don't know, and that is something that I don't have to publish until a couple days after it airs. So that's something I'm thinking of doing, and just if you're on the line watching the show, that's how you'll get it. And I think, I'm not sure if I can cut off the audio to the show, because I'd rather there not be all that feedback from everybody's TV. So if you are on that, oh, here comes the little toddler. Good morning. Would you like to say hello to everybody? You want to say hello to everybody? Come here. You can say hello. This is my girl. She has been taking very good care of me. Can you say hello? Okay, Mama's going to finish recording. You want to go back into there and watch your show? Okay, I love you. Sorry, I'm not really sure where I left off there. There's a benefit to podcasting at home, and there's a not benefit to podcasting at home. You might notice I have something other than coffee today, and that's because that is my first cup of coffee since my cancer treatment started. It sadly takes some getting used to. So, someone had reached out to me and requested we do their fan fiction, and if that is you, know that that is coming up. So hopefully in not this one, obviously, and not the next one, but the one after that, we're going to be covering your fan fiction, and hopefully I can get Janice on board with that, and she and I can read it together and go over it together. So that's coming up. Today, you'll notice my pictures are back. I miss them. We have to get new pictures, Liana. We got to get new pictures up there, especially when season 2 is coming. Oh, the other thing I want to mention, when we are doing the season 2 recaps, you will want to avoid those podcast episodes until you have seen the episode, because once Sanditon starts, so it starts on the 22nd, that very next Sunday is going to be a recap and a reaction to episode 1. And it will be like that for the first 6 episodes. It'll just be reaction episodes. That's it, pure and simple. Before and after, we hope, I'm really, really hoping that I can get some interviews for you. I don't know if I will be able to or not. It's not up to me. So I'm hoping that after we finish up our fan fiction series, like I said, we've got 3 or 4 more topics to cover on my list. And then it'll be all fan fiction until, or if you have artwork, that's the other thing. If you have artwork or if you have something that's Sanditon related, let me know. And I'd like to talk about it. Like Liana's artwork. Like I love her stuff. I happened to come across it on Twitter and I reached out to her and asked her if I could use some of them. And she generously offered to let me use her artwork. So if you ever look in our podcast description, which I recommend you do, it has links to certain things in there. It has links to where our music comes from. It has links to Liana's pages where you can look at her artwork and maybe purchase some of her artwork. It has links to our Facebook page, to our email, to all of our social media accounts. So check out our descriptions. It does have links in there. And if I ever talk about something in the podcast, it'll have a link to that. I just realized I don't think I linked Tracy's story a couple weeks ago to the podcast episode, but I will do that. So always check that out. Look for the links that we provide for you. But if you have artwork of that sort, or if you have anything that you sell or that you, SandiCon, we'd love to have SandiCon ladies come on here and talk about their event, which is coming up in March, by the way. We'd love to have everyone of you who are on there, who are in the Sanditon community, who are doing something like I'm doing. Mine doesn't make me any money. But if you have a shop that you're selling things on, we'd love to have you on here. If you have an event that's coming up Sanditon related, we'd love to have you on here and let's chat. Otherwise, it's going to be fan fiction. After I finish our designated topics, which will be, actually I think I only have 3 topics left, and one of them is today. So after that, it'll either be fan fiction until I can give interviews, and then it'll be interviews. After that, it will just be recaps of the episodes as the episodes are happening. So again, once Sanditon starts on March 22nd, if you have not seen the episodes and you do not want spoilers, do not watch our episodes until after you've seen the Sanditon episodes, season 2. And the reason for that is because I don't know if you know this or not, but I go into detail. Like an obsessive amount of detail. So that's what it'll be. After season 6 ends, we hope to get you some more interviews. We hope to do kind of the same sort of breakdown we did with this, where it's character spotlight, character relationships, and we'll break those down individually. So that is the layout for the coming months. My chemotherapy currently happens every other week. And they're very, very difficult. They are very hard on me and hard on my body. So I'm trying to record a couple in between those times so that I can put them out ahead of my therapy appointments. If I don't get to do that, then there will not be an episode every week. I'm trying to get one every week, and I'm a person who struggles with self-care, and I know that I don't have a choice in this, so I'm going to do the best I can to get you an episode every week. And obviously I missed 2 weeks, so this one you're going to notice has come out early. Happy birthday! So you're going to get this one, and then you're also going to get one on Sunday. So that is the goal here. Do not mock that I will be wearing the same outfit, because I'm trying to get you some episodes here. So, on we go into this episode. We are talking Lady Susan today, and you'll see her. Oh, there it is. There she is, Lady Susan. We are breaking down her character today. And she is, obviously, I'm going to ask you guys this question. I'm going to give, obviously I'm not going to hear it. I'm going to give you a beat to answer this question. Who is my favorite girl on Sanditon? Yes, it's Esther. But Lady Susan is way up there with me too. Esther, Lady Susan, Charlotte, Lady Denham. I mean, honestly, all the girls are up there on my list. They're all, it's Esther's number 1, and then everybody else, almost every other female, is a number 2. So it's very, very close for me. But Lady Susan is one of my favorites. And there's several reasons why. I think that I like her eccentricity. I like what she brings to the show in terms of light and life, and she's very, she's very loving, but she is very, I don't think frivolous is the right word for Susan, but she is very vivacious, and she's very, oh, don't worry about that. And I think part of that is because she doesn't have to worry about anything. Lady Susan is someone who has all of her needs met. She has her own money, plus, you know, she's simpatico with the Prince Regent, plus she has a circle of friends and followers who hang on her every word. And what I love about her is that, and I'm pulling this from episode 7 at the regatta, when she's talking to Charlotte about the people, and Charlotte's thanking her for bringing all the people there, and she's saying it's like the cogs of a clock. But I think that Susan sees that as a necessary nuisance. I don't think she enjoys the hangers-on. I think she finds them amusing, but I think she also finds them a nuisance. I think that for her, having all these people hang on her every word is just something that comes with her position, something that comes with her title, something that comes with her financial situation, something that comes with the people she knows. It just comes with the territory. So she accepts it. She encourages it as a Lady Verstation would, as a Lady Verstation would be expected to. But then you see those glimpses in the episode 6 at the ball in London, right, where she's off by herself and reading a book because it's, oh, I just need a break from all that. So that's what I like about her character, and that's what I think when I'm thinking the word frivolous. That's why frivolous isn't the right word, because it's not a frivolous thing, but it's, she sees these things as necessary, so she does them because it's, well, I just have to do it. But at the same time, she could say and do whatever she wanted, right? What she does instead is she allows those people who are just a necessary evil to have a position in society by being one of her hangers-on, by being a part of her group. Even if she doesn't pay them much attention, even if she's not very attentive to them, she still gives them a position in society by allowing them a position at her side. And so that's something that is very giving. And obviously her meeting Charlotte for the first time, and she's interested in her. And what I love about that is, Charlotte's talky, right? She always is. She's always been someone who gives a lot of information. For instance, in episode 1 at the ball when Sydney asked her opinion. She gave a lot of information to someone about their brothers when she didn't even really know him. So that's not something she's not known for, but Susan was able to open her up just by being intuitive. And that's, you kind of get the sense that that's what she does in society. These hangers-on are a necessary evil for her position. But I think she likes to watch. She likes to learn everything she can about a person. And that's why she's able to peg Eliza so fast. I mean, obviously we were too, but that's because the writers are good about showing us and not telling us. But Susan is looking for that. Susan intuitively looks for that. And I think that that's really smartly done by her, but it also gives her an advantage to be this kind-hearted person who cares about the matters of other people. I think typically when you read about higher society, even fiction and non-fiction alike, but you know, I read a lot of, I promise, at some point I'm going to stop bringing this up. I will, I promise. I read a lot of Pride and Prejudice fan fiction, and I read a lot of of Jane Austen in general. And I think that for me, you see high society as these people who only care about their own. They care about maintaining their position. They care about, and of course I read so much Pride and Prejudice fan fiction that sometimes it gets mixed in my head of what actually happens. But you read about these high society people who are worried about their own position, about their own family, about the people that are close to them. And you have these, Jane Austen's really good about bringing in these figureheads of society. And those figureheads, there's always the one, right? Just like there's always the Mr. Darcy or the city. There's this one figurehead in society who goes against the norm. And not because, I think her purpose was to demonstrate that you can't say something is inherently bad. Nothing is inherently bad all the time. There are always going to be exceptions to that rule. And those high society people who come in and are kind, like Lady Susan, who care about other people like Lady Susan does, that kind of gives you this image that okay, I can't just go into it closed-minded. I have to approach every person open-mindedly. And I think that's the title of Pride and Prejudice. I mean, that's the point, right? That you can't just see someone in their position and decide, okay, this is what you are. Okay, that's it. Book closed. That's my first impression is the right one. And she does really, really well in her writing. And of course, at this point, when Lady Susan is introduced, she is not a Jane Austen character, because Jane Austen did not write Lady Susan. However, I will maintain to the very end that the writers of Sanditon had done a very good job staying within Jane Austen's wheelhouse. They have followed her formula because it's a good formula and it works. There is a reason that Jane Austen's stories get remade and remade and remade and remade into fan fiction, into modern day movies, into remakes of the stories. I mean, there's several different versions of Pride and Prejudice dating back to the 40s, or is it 60s? I don't remember. The first was either 1943 or 63, I think. I can't remember. But there's several of them. There is a reason for that. Her formula works because her formula captivates you by seeing people that you would not imagine to act a certain way, acting differently. And that is Lady Susan. She is someone who is compassionate. And I think the reason she latched on to Charlotte, I don't think it was because she saw a pretty girl in a pretty dress escaping love. I don't think that's what it was. I think what Lady Susan saw in Charlotte was a girl, and she was a girl, clearly by how she was reacting, by the evasiousness of her actions. She saw that she was a younger girl who is in need of help. I think that is the reason Susan latched on to her. You can debate me on that. You could say it is something different. That's fine. I would love to hear your opinions. Please debate with me on this stuff because, again, I don't have a co-host. So I'm just talking to myself. And if you don't debate me on this, I'm going to believe in my absolute rightness. And if you listen to my other podcast, Fandom Family Chats, you're going to see that I don't need any help in believing my own rightness. Of course, most of that is sort of joking. But it's also because I'm usually right. So debate me on that. Tell me you think I'm wrong and tell me why, and let's have it out. If you want to come on here, let's have it out. In fact, if you guys will participate in lives, I might be doing way more live podcasts to get you guys these episodes when you want them, and then we can have a debate right there as it's happening, instead of afterwards, after I've given my 5 million minute long piece on a subject. But I think that Lady Susan, I think that was genuinely why she latched on to Charlotte, because she saw a young girl who was having a problem, who was in need of help. And Susan has so much at her disposal. She doesn't need to reserve it for herself. She doesn't need to reserve it for the people who are around her, because the people around her also have enough. What she wants to do is give to someone who actually needs it. She knows she has talent. She knows she has discernment. She knows that she sees things that other people don't because she cares enough to look. And so when she sees Charlotte come in the room, this beautiful, elegant, sophisticated woman of society, woman of the world, if you will, sees this young, innocent, almost panicked girl come in the room, right? She wants to use those powers for good. And it's interesting because if you know anything about the actress who plays Susan, she actually is a member of the royal family. So she does have that aspect to her. She married, I believe, the Queen's cousin she married. So the Queen of England's cousin. So she does have some understanding of how, actually she does have great understanding, not some, she has great understanding of how the system works because she is a lady in her own right, the actress is. So she has that to bring to it as well. And she brings this humanness to the role of Lady Susan. Lady Susan didn't care what Charlotte's position was. She didn't care if she had a title. She didn't care if she had money. She didn't care if she had a position. She just saw a girl who needed help, and she knew she could help. It didn't matter what the situation was, she could help. And I love how quickly she discerns it, and I love how quickly how does she word it? When Charlotte says, "Oh, I could never love a man like that." And she says, I don't remember how she words it, but she's basically saying, you don't get to decide who you love. You could no more decide anything else than, how you feel about things. So she just brings a very, very human aspect to the character of Lady Susan. And what I love about that scene in episode 6 when they're discussing Charlotte's feelings for Sydney is that she's not fantastical about it. She doesn't talk about how brilliant love is or how you can't factor in love. She doesn't talk about any of that. She gives very reasonable and good advice about seeking those things that are good and true. And that's what it is for Lady Susan. And I think truly that's why she fights so hard for Sydney and Charlotte, because she knows that is good and she knows it is true. And I think that her personality is something that fights for those things and gravitates towards those things. And not only that, but she encourages others to gravitate towards those things. Go for what is good and what is true. Eliza and Sydney is not good and it's not true. So she has no problem breaking that up. And her despisal of Eliza, I'm sure, started off in the defense of her friend. But it could have ended amicably. Why it didn't is because Eliza herself is not good or true. And Lady Susan does not have time for that. And she doesn't have to have time for that. That's the beauty of her position. So in episode 7, when they're talking, obviously Lady Susan's just trying to annoy Eliza with these conversations because she can clearly see Sydney's in love with Charlotte. In fact, so can Eliza. And she can clearly see, they both can clearly see Charlotte's in love with Sydney. It's obvious to everyone around them who knows anything about them or who cares enough to look. Obviously, not everyone cares enough to look, except for James Stringer, Eliza, and Mary occasionally, and Lady Susan. Those are the only people who cared enough to look. But what I love about the interaction, I love the whole thing, but my favorite part is right after Charlotte walks away and Lady Susan, I just did it. I didn't mean to do it, but it's hard to not do it. But when she just looks at Eliza and she just kind of goes, and she cocks her head to the side a little bit, very short, very quick, and she squints her eyes at her a little bit, and she purses her lips at her. I love that. And I don't know if it's because it's a particularly subtle brand of dominance, or if it's just because there's almost a threat in it of, okay, you wait. And that's what it feels like to me, that there's a threat. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Debate me on it. But that's why I love it. Because there is this very subtle, unverbalized threat to the way Lady Susan looks at Eliza. And there is almost like, the way Eliza smiles back at her, it's almost like timid. Like, she kind of feels, she's riding on this high of, ha, I put Charlotte in her place. But then there's also mixed with, I might have just made Lady Susan mad. And Eliza has her own money. Sure, she's very wealthy. She has her own posse around her. But the difference between Lady Susan and Eliza, and I think Eliza knows this, is her hangers-on are only hanging on because she has money. Lady Susan's hangers-on, yes, they're hanging on her for a title, or for a place in society, or for an elevated place in society, but they're also hanging on to her because of who Lady Susan is. She earns their loyalty by being who she is. Eliza doesn't earn anybody's loyalty because she's such a vapid person. The only reason they're near her is because she has money. And you can kind of see that in the way the people follow Lady Susan around, because the people who are following Lady Susan around, when the carriage arrives, they get out of the carriage and they're laughing. They're, you know, ha ha ha, everything's great, everything's fun, everything's funny, let's go have fun and let's separate a little bit. Eliza's hangers-on are always like following right behind her or right next to her, and they don't look like they're happy. So when Lady Susan gives her that nonverbal threat, it does put a fear in Eliza. And I absolutely love that very subtle thing. Again, nonverbal, my sweet spot. It is no secret. You guys should know me well enough by now. I think we've done, how many episodes have we done? I think this is episode 38. So if you guys don't know that I like nonverbal by now, I don't know what podcast you are watching or listening to. I don't know. But, sorry, when there's long pauses, for those of you that are listening and not watching, when there's long pauses, I have to drink water, because that's the other side effect of chemo, is I get dry mouth really bad, which is fun. And then when she says goodbye, the other thing I like about this too, and it's so much of how I think what they were trying to do at the end of season 1, give us all of these promises, give us all of these hope for return. And I think they ended that with Susan's character too. They gave us a hope for her return with how they ended it, of the race is not yet won. And I think that their hope there was that, you know, she's going to come back. She's going to come back. She's going to save the day. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. She's going to come in and help you out. Eliza's going to be gone. Cindy's going to be there. I think that with Susan, how they ended it, they were setting it up for her return. And she is a fan favorite for a reason. Not only is she a great person in real life, but her character is someone that you just want to see more of. She's magnetic on screen because of who her character is. Not because of her title, not because of her relationship with the Prince Regent, not because of any of that. It's because of who she is, how she interacts with people who are far below her station. Charlotte is nowhere near her station. Yeah, she's a gentleman's daughter, but she's a farmer's daughter who happens to be a gentleman in a podunk, tiny little town that doesn't even have a doctor. So that is far, far, far below Susan's station. Yet she's made her a friend because like things gravitate towards like things. And Charlotte is like Susan. And I love Susan's insistence on not letting Charlotte call her lady. It's just Susan. That's what it is. That's my name. So call me Susan. And even after she finds out it's Lady Susan, Charlotte has no hesitation in calling her Susan rather than Lady Susan, even when she finds out her title. And Susan wouldn't have it any other way. And she makes known that, no, this is my friend, this is my person, and we're gonna leave it right there. And so I love her character. I love what she brings to the character. I love watching that character move on screen. There's such a regal air to how she moves on screen. The clothing choices for her were out of this world. I love them. They're so vibrant. They bring so much life to that character. And I think the actress who plays her, I keep saying actress because I cannot remember her name. I'm gonna blame chemo brain. For the next year, anytime there's a problem, I'm just gonna say, hey, I have cancer, or hey, I have chemo brain, can't help it. So I'm gonna blame that. But the actress herself is vivacious, and she's able to bring that in. Susan's not overflowing with laughter and with joy. She's not overflowing with wild movements or anything like that by any means. But you get this tone of frivolity in her. You get it because of the way she plays this character. She's very calm. She's very what is the word I'm looking for? She's very I keep saying the word regal, but I want a different word. Professional's not the word I want either. I'm sure the actress is, but that's not the word I want for Lady Susan. She's very she carries herself like a royal because she is a royal, but there's almost a childlike aspect to it. And that's why the frivolity is the word I keep wanting to say, but it doesn't fit because it's not your stereotypical frivolity. Because when you think of frivolity, you think of kids running around, screaming, having fun, laughing, being ruckus, or causing a ruckus. My words are coming out all weird, sorry. But that's what you think when you think of frivolous, right? And that's not the frivolous that Lady Susan is. The frivolous that she is she is quick to smile. She's quick to laugh, even though it's a reserved laugh. She's quick to joke at someone else's expense. She's quick to poke fun, like she did in the tent in episode 7 at the regatta with Sydney and Charlotte and Eliza. She was poking a bear, and she was doing it on purpose. So she's very quick to enjoy things. She's quick to enjoy life because she understands that it doesn't matter your position. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have these responsibilities in your position or your life. There are still moments to be enjoyed because that's what it's supposed to be. And you get that from her character, from how she plays her character. And I think it's great. I love how she plays it out. I love how it comes across on screen. And this is going to sound weird, but even watching her move, I love it. She is one of my favorites. In fact, in the fan fiction that I know, I've had a couple people write to me my email saying, I really want to read your fan fiction. It's not finished. I have written several things over my years. Several things. And some of them I struggle to finish with things like this especially, because the reason I wanted to write a fan fiction was because I wanted to finish this story, because there wasn't a season 2, there wasn't a season 3. So I have, the way I write, I have to do an outline of everything I want to happen, and I have to put it in the order I want it to happen, and then from there I'll expound on it, because I'm not an analytical person, but when I write, I have to have it laid out. Sometimes I'll go into it, but that's when I just have an inkling of a story in my head, and I'll just start writing it out. But with this particular story, I knew what I wanted the ending to be. I knew what things needed to happen to get there, so I had to have an outline. So what I have done is the outline. I don't have the whole story finished, and that's why you can't find it anywhere. But when I was writing it, it was Lady Susan who, and I think there's a lot of fan fictions like this, honestly. Lady Susan is the one who saved the day, because she has the finances to do it. She has the know-how to do it, and it's still, I get why they ended the way they did in season 1, because they wanted it to be continued, and it was kind of a gamble to see if they would continue to pick it up. But I, for the life of me, cannot understand why no one went to Susan or Babington. I can't understand it. Babington had an investment in that town already, because his wife is from that town. His wife's family is in that town. He is already invested by marriage in that town. So even if you didn't go to Lady Susan, Babington should have been gone to about this. Of course, when it burned down, he was not married to her yet, but he was getting there. It was, she said yes the night of the ball, so Sydney had to, well, maybe Sydney didn't talk to him. I don't know. Anyway, in my story, Susan and Babington saved the day, because that's the way it should be, in my opinion. So that's how I see it played out, and I'm so glad to see that she is coming back, because I think she is going to be, if they're writing Sydney out somehow, I imagine that Susan's going to be involved, especially because Babington doesn't appear to be coming back. Of course, just because they don't announce that they're coming back doesn't mean they aren't. So Mark Stanley very well may come back in some capacity. I don't know. But I know that Lady Susan is going to be back. And I'm so glad. And I really hope that we see more of her character, because she's just fun to watch. She's fun to listen to. She's fun because it's almost like you're interacting with her. And it's like when she's on the screen, it's like she knows a secret, right? And I love being a part of that. So I hope we get to see so much more of her. I have high hopes, because we have a great writing team on this. So if you have, I really want to know, do you disagree with some of the points I made? Do you agree with them? Reach out to me. I don't want this to be a one-sided, well, not egotistical, but I don't want this to be a one-sided show here. I want this to be something where I hear from you and hear what you like, hear what you think, hear what you agree with, what you don't agree with. I really want to know this stuff. So you can reach out to me at my email at the.sanditonchronicles@gmail.com. Thank you for those of you who have. There's several of you who reached out to me after I announced my breast cancer diagnosis, and I just was able to open them this week. So I will be responding to those. I'm sorry I have not yet, but I have a good excuse. I have cancer. For the next year. That's just going to come out of my mouth at random times. If you want to catch up with us on Facebook, we are hoping to be more interactive on Facebook. You can find us there at the Sanditon Chronicles, Sanditon Family Fan Club. You can find us on Twitter under Sanditon and you can find us on Instagram under the.sanditon.chronicles. You are probably hearing my little 3-year-old run around the house right now in the toy room. The other thing is that we are doing a rewatch soon. The way I have it planned out, I'm not telling you the exact date because I'm not sure the exact date at the moment, but we have it ending the week before Sanditon premieres. So on February 15th, Episode 8 will be watched. We're going to do a group rewatch. So do the math from there. Episode 8 is we're going to do Episode 8. I'm not going to do podcast episodes, but in our Facebook group, we're going to do a rewatch and discussion questions on there. Episode 8 is going to end on February 15th. Okay, so do the math backwards, and that's when we're going to start our rewatch. On that note, we'll see you real soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.